Hi, and welcome back to Scratch. Today we're going to make baked chocolate cake donuts. If you'd like to support the channel, please like and share this recipe. For the donuts, we'll need 1 egg, a cup of flour, a half cup of half and half or whole milk, a half cup of sugar, a third cup of cocoa powder, 2 tablespoons of coffee, a tablespoon of melted butter, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a half teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/4 teaspoon salt. For the sugar glaze, we'll need 1 cup of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons of half and half or whole milk, and a half teaspoon of vanilla extract. We'll start by preheating our oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit and melting our tablespoon of butter for 30 seconds in the microwave. Then we'll whisk together our cup of flour, half cup of sugar, third cup of cocoa powder, half teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We'll then mix in our egg, tablespoon of melted butter, 2 tablespoons of coffee, teaspoon of vanilla extract, and half cup of half and half or whole milk. To help the donuts keep their shape, your batter should be thick. Once we've mixed our batter, we'll transfer it to a Ziploc bag for piping. Then we'll grease a standard sized donut pan and pipe in our batter. This recipe produces enough batter for just over 6 donuts. If you'd prefer, you can pipe in some extra batter, but if you'd like decently round holes, you shouldn't fill any of the donuts more than halfway. Then we'll tamp down the batter. Once we've prepared our donuts, we'll bake them in the oven at 325 degrees for 15 minutes. It's been 15 minutes and our donuts should be done. If you'd like, you can do a toothpick test to check for doneness and make sure the toothpick comes out clean. We'll remove them from the oven and allow the donuts to cool completely in the pan. This should take about 1 hour. Then we'll carefully loosen the donuts with a silicone spatula before flipping them out onto a cooling rack. Once we've released our donuts from the pan, we'll get started on our glaze. We'll mix together a cup of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons of half and half or whole milk, and a half teaspoon of vanilla extract. We'll whisk these together until the sugar is completely dissolved and it's formed a medium thick glaze. Once we've formed our glaze, we'll dip each of our donuts in and place them back on the cooling rack for 10 to 15 minutes to allow the glaze to set before serving. If you'd like more glaze, you can spoon additional glaze over the donuts. And remember, if you like the content, please subscribe.